It's so weird.
I don't know how he does it. The world is a unique place. Its people even more so. For one man, exploring abandoned buildings with historical meaning is just his pastime. And while he isn't climbing, crawling or creating content for his YouTube page, he is at work or building up his profile as a professional photographer. Welcome to Uncharted Passions, the series which delves deep into everyday people and their unique passions and projects. Today me and my crew are meeting up with Leon Hodgkins, a professional photographer who has a YouTube channel all about urban exploration.
How did I get into Urbex and how did I start the channel? Started like when I was younger, and I started doing abandoned buildings when I was younger and started like making them into dens. But then as I got older and YouTube sort of like kicked off more, and I started to see people like did it as a hobby and like as a career. So I got into it that way, and I met some other Urbexers through YouTube, and that's how it started.
Urban exploring, better known as urbexing, has been around for a long while now, with people going around and exploring many different buildings and locations. Some of these places are abandoned whilst others are very active. So what separates Leon from the usual urbexers?
What makes us stand out? It was the history element that made us stand out at first, because we were one of the few urbex groups to actually do history on the locations that we visited. But then it's sort of like people started to catch on, and then everyone were doing that. So yeah, it became less exclusive. But we were one of the biggest urbex groups in Sheffield at one point.
The hobby is a dangerous one at times. Most locations are shut tight and have security on site to keep out visitors.
Yeah, we've been caught on location loads of times, but one of the worst times was Sheffield Courthouse in Sheffield City Centre. And we were in there for quite a while, and then I got out, and then there were two other people in there who we were with, but they were hanging out the window, so people phoned the police and everything. And then literally it was like half of Sheffield's police force came out at Sheffield Courthouse. But I feel as though like the man who owned the courthouse were the prosecutors, and we'd never had that before. So we were like trying to convince him that we're only there to like take photos. We weren't there to cause any issues or anything.
The risk of getting caught while urbexing is high. The law states that if you force an entry or break into a location, you are vandalising and trespassing. However, most explorers have sneaky ways of entering places without damaging anything.
Yeah, the building that we're at used to be a hostel, accommodation for backpackers and adventurers in the area.
You know when it shut down?
It's gonna be shut it last 4 or 5 years.
Wow, it already looks like it's in
a
lot of decay. Besides the authorities and security, urbexing can also be dangerous for other reasons, such as unsafe structures, squatters and unfriendly people within these locations.
One of the main risks that we face when exploring is the actual quality of the buildings, because sometimes you'll go into a building, you'll think on the outside, it looks quite sturdy, it looks all right, and then you go inside, and friends of mine have fell through floors and things like that, because obviously water damage has come through the building, it's made all the structure spongy and soft, and yeah, it's not as safe. They're not as safe as they look on the outside.
A lot of these locations are usually covered in graffiti art. What are Leon's thoughts on this?
The location that we're in now, I really do like the graffiti and stuff like that, because I think it adds character to the buildings and stuff. But I did do a building about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's called Well Meadow Street, and it's in Sheffield Town Centre, and it dates back to like the 1700s, and some people made it people aware of it online and stuff, and then as soon as that happened, people went in and started spray painting stuff all over the building, and obviously those bricks have been there like 1700s, and they were just spraying all over them. So there's like a line, I think, there's the places you should and can do it, and then there's those places that you're like, I really shouldn't do it.
Would you say there's a toxic side to this community?
Yeah, when people, like proper urbexers who've been in it for a long time, and they do it for the right reasons, they will switch and trade with people who they know are respectable explorers. But then you get a lot of toxic culture within urbex. So you get people who go to buildings, advertise exactly where it is, the address, everything. And then I call it the Urbex tour bus, and you'll just get loads and loads of people. In fact, a building that you're familiar with, Ash House.
Ash House, yeah.
When I first went to that building, the tour bus were through there. We were there for 20 minutes, and then when we went down, we went downstairs, and then there were just tons and tons of people there.
Jesus Christ. Leon is a professional. He's been doing this for many years. What are some things you would recommend to any people who are thinking of urbexing?
What advice would I give? Just do you and enjoy it the best way you can. Don't try and be some of these toxic urbexers that are around and things like that. Just go and do it for the right reasons rather than just to make your social media look better.